this one came together rather easily because, as you know, we're all friends and we all kind of love working together. And that's a part that a lot of people don't understand about these movies. Everybody thinks, oh, it's a studio thing. They just want to make money and make these movies. We love working together, the 4, 5, 6 of us. And we just have the best time on these films. So the coming together of it happened really organically and really quickly. What we're trying to do with the film is really a closure. I mean, it's really kind of the last word on the wolf pack, and we have this really one severe loose end, which is the Alan character who is, spun out of control in all these movies. And it's really about atoning for the past sins, which is why it ends here in Sin City, about how those sins sort of come back to haunt you, and until you deal with it, it won't go away. Mr. Chow really represents the devil in this series, and our guys early on made a deal with the devil, and again, here they are trying to undo it. It's not as epic as you might think, because truly between the movies we hang out a lot. We see each other a lot, particularly Bradley and I, but we all see each other a lot. So it wasn't like, oh, how have you been, and da-da-da. We kind of just fell right into it, much like we did on Hangover 2. We kind of just fell right into that rhythm of working together and being together again. I mean, it's always great. The better question, or the harder part, was the end of it, you know what I mean? Because it's like, we know this is the last of this franchise series, whatever you want to call it. So the very end of filming was a little bit more bittersweet because, I mean, again, yeah, we'll see each other socially and stuff, but we're ending this thing that really was a huge deal for all 4 of us, and I think casting is 70–80%. I mean, we've talked about this before, of a comedy. I think that, a huge part of why The Hangover works and worked the first one is because of that chemistry between these 3 guys. And I think sometimes you can just nail it like we did in this movie, and sometimes you see movies and everything's there, but something seems off, and oftentimes it's a chemistry thing. So casting is, I think, not just for comedy, I think for most movies, casting is the most effective tool of which a director kind of paints a picture with, Well, that baby, I don't know if you know, is the same, literally the same kid from the movie poster of Hangover 1. We were going to cast a kid, and I said, why don't we just find, Grant was his name. Let's go and see if Grant is, like, able to sit still and, like, behave. And because obviously at 6 months old, he wasn't an actor. But we called up his parents, and she was down, and they came down to my office, and we met, and he's so adorable, and he kind of turned into the 4-year-old version of that kid, so we just had to do it. Yeah, for Heather and for Zach, and for all of us, it was just so cute to see the kid again, and he didn't know what was going on. I mean, he obviously doesn't remember that. He doesn't remember this. He doesn't know what was going on. John Goodman, is John Goodman. He's one of the greatest character actors of our time. He kills it in every movie he comes in, whether he comes in for 2 days or 20 days. I think with us, we had him for about 8 days, and I just love his energy, and I just love how he draws his characters in whatever movie it is. Even not just talking about this film, the things he brings to a character. He's really, I can't think of anyone else out there who does what he does. And it's not that he's not known for it. I mean, he certainly gets the respect. He works with the Coen brothers. I mean, people know it, so it's pretty good. And Melissa McCarthy, I mean, Melissa, obviously one of the funniest women out there, or maybe the top female comic performer right now out there. We thought if Zach is gonna find a girl in this movie, if Zach is gonna sort of find the one, it's gotta be her, so we really went after her hard. And she was nice enough to come down and do it for 3 days, or 2 days, I forget, but 3 days. And she's amazing. Well, I do a lot of road movies. It is a little bit of a road movie, but more it's a chase movie. It's a heist movie. It is a lot of things as well as being a comedy. I think what's tricky about this movie is the tone, because there's a darkness to it. But as you know, in the other movies, I feel like there's been a darkness underneath all of them. They're not necessarily broad comedies the way some people would identify or define a broad comedy. But that's the trickiest part with Hangover 3 was it got even a little bit darker and a little bit more twisted, I think, in some of the elements. So it just feels more like a movie than a comedy movie only, you know? They really roll out the red carpet for us here in Las Vegas now. I think The Hangover has become one of the movies that define Las Vegas. Ocean's 11 is one of those movies. The Hangover is for sure. And so all the hotels, all the people here, they've really just been great to us. That was pretty much the hardest thing we've shot on this movie. I mean, each movie you have one sort of epic thing that is like you're kind of dreading shooting because it takes so many days and so many people and so many cooperation from so many different properties. On the Hangover 2, it was that car chase through Bangkok, which was really sort of epic. On this movie, it was the parachuting through Vegas, and that was just difficult. And we shot it over 3 nights, and we had a lot of parachutists, and it's a safety thing, and we had cameras everywhere on top of every hotel, and we had to have all the hotels kind of working in sync with each other, which is difficult in its own right because they're by nature competitive with each other. But it was great. It was great, and it all ended up. I mean, we were closing down the strip on Halloween night. Don't ask me why we shot on Halloween night. That was bad planning. But we're closing the strip down, so it was funny. I'd say the part I like the most is just being on set and working with the guys. I think that's even though it's the most stressful part of it, it's the least lonely part, it's the most collaborative part, and it is where the magic happens, quite honestly. I mean, a lot of directors like being in the editing room. I actually used to like that more. Now I like being on the field more. I just feel like that's where it's all happening, and as you become more confident as a director, that's where you realize it's all really going down. Well, I think the initial reason that they got embraced, honestly, is concept. I think the concept of a hangover is very much something everyone around the world understands. Now, that I think got them in the door. And what took it to another level was, again, back to the chemistry of these 3 guys and quite frankly, the comedy of these 3 guys. I think people just like hanging out with them. And, I think people, and that's what we're hoping on Hangover 3. It's like, let's spend another 2 hours with your buddies from that last movie. It's like you like this group of 3 best friends, as they say.